Come here. Come here. I know. What's up, you guys? So today's video is going to be a quick little one to show my anthurium seedlings, how they're growing, show you some growth updates on them because, fun fact, this is not the video I planned to film today. I was actually supposed to be at Charmaine's today filming another collab. We had a couple of fun videos planned, but then I woke up this morning and I was sick. So filming day got canceled or postponed till next week, so I really want to be in bed right now, but I'm gonna put together a little video. I'm feeling well enough to film, just not like well enough to do anything crazy. And Huxley's been keeping me company. So yeah, I want to keep this video to 30 minutes and under. Hopefully I can do that. So basically I just wanted to jump on and show you my seedlings because they're actually bringing me a massive amount of joy right now. As far as video requests go, anthurium collection care video is probably like up there in the top 3 most requested. Honestly, I will make a video like that. It's just like, I think I have the most anthuriums compared to any other genus of plants. So in order to show them all, that would be a humongous video. And also like the care of them, I think that it can get a little bit repetitive, so I wanted to make sure I had something kind of interesting to bring to the table, bring to the conversation. But I thought I'd do a little mini anthurium video and show you how I'm growing all my seedlings. A lot of them you've seen before. Some of them you wouldn't have seen in a while, and I just want to show you how they're growing, how I'm growing them, and like, you know, what's working for me. So after my like declutter, I had cleared out a space in my tent, like one shelf near the bottom that I'm growing all my seedlings in. So I'll pop a little bit of footage to show you what it looks like. These are growing kind of on like a moss tray. So I used to use this propagation dome for a lot of my props and you know, rehabs and things like that. But I took the dome cover off in order to grow these seedlings because I don't want to grow these anthuriums in such high humidity, like basically 100% humidity. I find that, you know, fungal issues can crop up pretty quickly when that happens. So the only big downfall is that that propagation dome is like lined with moss at the bottom, and I used to be able to farm a lot of live sphagnum moss that way, but since taking the dome off, a lot of that moss has kind of dried out and died, so that's a little bit sad. So I'm growing all my seedlings in my tent at the moment. I have some anthuriums that are slightly bigger, but you can kind of consider them seedling size that I'm growing outside of my tent, like right behind me here. But the majority of these like little tiny little sweet little babies, they are in my tent, and I find that they're growing really fast this way. They're growing much faster than the anthuriums behind me here, which is to be expected. So if that sounds fun to you, let's just hang out for like 30 minutes if I can keep my rambling to a minimum. So my seedlings have been kind of like a source of great joy for me. Some of these I grew from a seed and some of them I got as a little baby seedling, but I thought I'd quickly show you how they're doing now. I just find so much joy from growing something from seed, seeing them evolve from these like very generic seedling looking, like you couldn't tell what they are plants, and sizing up and starting to produce characteristics. I just really enjoy seeing them kind of size up from these like very nondescript seedling, like little green hearts, and start to produce characteristics, show different colors, have venation coming out, and just starting to look a little bit more like their mother plants. And also I have like multiple hybrids grown from seed that now look quite different from each other. For some reason, I'm finding that more gratifying than my larger plants. Just at the moment, I think I'm like a little bit extra in love with anthuriums these days. So the first one I wanted to show is one that I showed fairly recently, and I also repotted these seedlings on camera like long time ago, like one of my very first videos. So this is my anthurium forgetii, which is a cross of what I thought was a dark form, which turned out to be like a silver veins, like a minimally silver veins form, with my friend's dark form forgetii. And this one is the most kind of forgetii looking one. It looks so cute. I finally got them out of that seedling tray. I was supposed to go to like a work function, and then I decided I'd rather repot my seedlings and watch Ratatouille. So that's what I did the other night, and I finally got them all in not moss. So I had them all in moss in like a little seedling like cup plug thing. So I decided to put half of them in soil and half of them in pond and just kind of see if I notice any difference in how they're growing out. I have the soil plants in drainage pots and then the pond plants in no drainage pots, and then they're being fed the same. I tried to divide the sizes fairly evenly in that, like, I took little tiny babies and potted half the really small ones in soil, half the really small ones in pond, and then the larger ones I kind of split them half in soil, half in pond, and would just kind of see like within the next 6 months, like if I see any noticeable difference in how they're growing. For this batch of seedlings, I didn't inoculate them with great white. I'm actually trying something new at the moment. So it's not in the original packaging because I split the container with Charmaine. She has the packaging. So this is not obviously what it looks like when you buy it, but this is TPS billions. This is a bacterial and mycorrhizal inoculant suspended in turbinado sugar. That sugar part kind of weirds me out, but it's so beautiful. It's like sandy, like green sugar. It's actually like really delicious looking. And this is also water soluble. So what I did was I dissolved this in water, and then I went through and watered all the seedlings after they had been transplanted. So we'll see how that goes, but Charmaine's having good results with it. Amanda's having good results with it. I also had really good results with Great White, so I'm just curious to see if I notice any difference. So I have 17 of these seedlings now inoculated with TPS billions, and then they all have a lot more space to, you know, stretch their feet, which honestly has been like months overdue. So I just wanted to show my largest one, which is not very large, but it is like one of the few that are like fully peltate, and it has been peltate for 2 leaves in a row now. I'm just looking forward to seeing them kind of speed up in growth. Another one of like my seedlings that I came from my mother plants is this, what am I gonna call this? So this is a hybrid between Jing's mother plant, which we call the tofu anthurium. It's a no ID complex hybrid that probably has magnificum, crystallinum, probably, maybe forgetii, maybe papillolaminum. It's a really beautiful hybrid that has silver veining, sometimes produces peltate leaves, sometimes will produce leaves that are like very red. In Jing's experience, a very prolific grower. It has a lot of that hybrid vigor. And then the pollen donor was my dark form forgetii. It's all the way up there. I'm not gonna go get it. And my dark form forgetii is one of those ones that does not have any silver at all. It has kind of more of that limey green venation. So her plant actually produced berries quite quickly. I wanna say it was only like 3 or 4 months before she was able to harvest these and plant them. So I have 1, 2, 3 of them here, and they're super, super baby. And I think they're, at this point, I'm going to put them into tree fern fiber or pond. I haven't really decided yet. And I'll grow these out separately. So this is what we're calling tofu X forgetii. I'm hoping that it will produce very red looking forgetiis. That's like my dream. Like if it has a nice red emergent, that's all I want. That's all I want. So this is the only one I have in moss at the moment because this is what Jing had decided to germinate the seeds in. If I were to germinate seeds, I think from now on, I would probably germinate it in tree fern fiber, because tree fern fiber I find falls off the roots a lot quicker for any transplant. I have other seedlings in tree fern fiber that are doing really well. It's really, really like structured and airy, so I'd have no concerns over like airflow to the roots. I just want to get all of my plants out of moss. If I were to get like seeds from anyone, or when I harvest seeds from my anthurium, I'm probably gonna do tree fern fiber. I might even do one in perlite and see what happens. But yeah, these were germinated and they're finally now growing. I will say, of all the seedlings that I've germinated in moss, they took the longest to size up and kind of get going once germinated. So the growth rate is much slower in moss compared to my seedlings that got moved to pond, pond pretty much. Once they were moved to pond, they really took off. So I not really sure why, because the feed would have been the same in either substrate, but for some reason the moss seedlings grew the slowest and took the longest to kind of get going. And once seedlings start to get going, they can grow super fast. So I don't actually recommend growing seedlings in moss, but that's just me. Another one I grew from seed, or two. These two are siblings from the same batch of berries. So this one is an anthurium magnificum crossed with ace, magnificum being the mother plant and then ace being the pollen donor. Here is the newest leaf. Look at that red sinus, is it not adorable? This is one of the seedlings I had originally germinated seed in moss, and then it was taking forever to outgrow like this little tiny baby stage. And actually they stalled for quite a long time until I got them into pon, and then they actually just like started to grow and size up a lot quicker. So this is the smaller one of the two. I'm actually hoping for this leaf to grow up nice and big and velvety. And then here is my other one. So this is the newest leaf that's still expanding quite a lot. This one was exciting because this was one of the first like reddish bronzy emergent leaves from this plant, which I'm not sure if that coloration is from the ace or from the mag, because they both kind of have those traits. But this one also has that red sinus. I don't know if it's going to pick up that color. And then it has a very like AC kind of shape. Let me show you in comparison with my actual ace of spades. So here is ace on the left, and then this is the mag ace on the right. Like you can kind of see the similarities in the leaf shape. This is the hardened leaf before it, and this one is not fully hardened yet, but it's almost there. And yeah, I'm excited to see this one grow out. I don't know if I'm gonna like absolutely be in love with this plant. I've seen other mag ace crosses that are kind of just look like any random hybrid that, you know, I've already owned before. But that's the fun of like seed grown hybrids, is that like you just never know what they're gonna end up looking like. So another two that I had grown from seed, these are from Lauren at Northwest Tropicals. These are magnificum crossed with luxurians, and I got them as seed from her, I want to say 3 months or so ago, and this one is a smaller one. This new leaf though, it's so round and so cute, and it's starting to get, you know, the bubbles. It's got two parents with very square angled petioles, so it's going to be a really cute one. This one for some reason struggled to grow a little bit more than my other one. So this is the other one from the same seed batch. So this one is grown a lot more, and it's actually more narrow. It's been a lot more steady growing. They're in the exact same substrate, like in pon, and you know, they were fed the same, they get water at exactly the same time, but somehow this one is growing a little bit more. This new leaf is the first bronzy new leaf, which was very exciting to see. And actually this one is more velvety than the previous ones. So just for comparison, I'm going to show you my Crystal Lux. So this was another seed grown plant, but from Amanda, so I didn't grow it. This is them side by side. It looks like it took her plant to about this size to start looking a lot more velvety. And I'm seeing that with this one as well. I want to say this one is a little bit more smooth and shiny, and then this one is looking like it's going to be a lot more velvety. I am so hot. I need to change. I feel like I'm starting to get a bit of a fever now. How wrinkly is this shirt on a scale of 1 to 10? It's a wrinkly shirt. Moving on. Oh, and I should also mention that when I transplanted all the seedlings, other than the forgetii that I transplanted with billions, I used great white. So what I did was I took them out of the moss and kind of removed as much moss as I could from the roots. And luckily there wasn't a lot of roots to get moss off of, so I was able to clean them up with very little root disturbance, and I got them into pon with great white. And so far they've actually all taken the transplant really well. And you're gonna see that with my most recent transplants, which were seedlings that I got from Amanda. I don't think I'm making a lot of sense. So next I'm gonna show you some updates on the plants that I got from Amanda. And they would have been in my possession for about a month, I think. I don't know. Time passes so quickly and I'm just not in the headspace to think about timelines and stuff like that. So I moved almost all of them to pond when I got them. I would say probably the majority of them were in tree fern fiber, possibly some in pond, but I kind of like went the inverse and I did most of them in ponds, and two of them are growing in tree fern fiber. So the ones growing in tree fern fiber are, once again, the Ace of Spades. I actually regrettably dropped this plant like 3 times. It kept falling off of my shelf because it's like this pot is so small. So I got it in a little more secure of a spot right now. It's close to ready to push out a new leaf. So that one is in tree fern fiber. The other one that's in tree fern fiber is this Magnificum by Carla Blackier, which is actually like probably rooted the best, I want to say. So my tree fern fiber mix is tree fern fiber with just like a few scoops of my pond mix, which is Lechuza pond, perlite, and orchiata, just to kind of like break up the substrate a little bit and also to kind of stretch this tree fern fiber out a little bit more because it's so expensive. This one, like, look at the roots. They're absolutely delicious. Look at this one. Fat, juicy guy. I think this one rooted the best out of all of the Amanda plants that I transplanted. And this one's also living in my tent. This newest leaf, I'm very excited to see it grow out, but so far what I'm seeing with this plant is that like they're very dark, but the venation's so cool. It has this burst of silver coming from the sinus, and it just fades out as it gets to the margin. So we see this little burst here. Even on this one, there's a little bit. And then the newest leaf looks like that. I'm gonna throw up a photo that I'm looking at right now from Brian Wu at Woohoo Tropicals, which I think one of Amanda's mother plants, I think, is actually from Brian. And yeah, it does have that like bright white sinus. Not all of the ones I'm seeing do. A couple of Carla's do. Ooh, that's so beautiful. Okay, so yeah, this must be a Carla trait, which is really exciting. I'm really happy that it's taking on some Carla traits versus just looking like another Magnificum. Oh no, this is a Mag Crystal by Carla. And I'm not 100% sure if this was one of Amanda's hybrids or if this was a plant that she had gotten from someone else. These tree fern fiber roots are so satisfying. And if I were to compare to like this one in pond, you know, it's rooted quite a bit, but this one's been growing in this substrate for much longer, and this one seems to absolutely love this substrate. So, which is understandable why Amanda grows all her seedlings in tree fern fiber. It's just that it's such an expensive substrate for me. I've actually been very sparing with my tree fern fiber, and I have barely made a dent in my bag, which is like thankful, but I don't want to buy that substrate again anytime soon because it's just so expensive. But yeah, I can see that the anthuriums really love it. So yeah, these are the 2 tree fern fiber ones. This one is a papillolamnum of a clone called PAP5 or RA5. So this one is the leaf that grew in my care. It popped out probably like a week after I got it, and there's a little bit of damage. I'm not sure from what. I must have knocked it against something. And then it's actually got another leaf popping out. Do you see that coming out of the petiole there? This one has been quite a fast grower. So there was 2 seedlings, and one was mine and one was Charmaine's. And Charmaine's just had a leaf that was hardening off, but it was still really soft when she got it. And then I somehow accidentally took both of them home. So I put both of them into pond, and hers started popping a leaf like within a week as well. So these are growing super fast. But this is starting to look more like a pappy to me. Like the shape and like the venation and the bumpiness is very bullate already. Like if I feel it, it's super bumpy. So this one's gonna be really exciting to see grow because it is such a fast grower, and I'm hoping that it's gonna continue to size up. And with all my seedlings, obviously with all my plants in general, I pretty much feed with every single watering, but with my seedlings, I have to be extra careful to make sure that they are getting fed with every watering because the growth rate is so much faster on them versus any of my other anthuriums. To create a small leaf, it takes less energy and resources, but I also, with constant and continuous growth, I'm conscious that like they always need to be fed. So in case anyone's interested, So pardon the crusty jar, but this is what I'm feeding all of the anthuriums with at the moment with added CalMag. So this is TPS1, same brand as the TPS Billions. So the last one I wanted to show, where is it? Here it is. So the last one is this one, which is the RA5 crossed with Swamp Bunny, 2 pappies. So this being one of the parents. Well, I mean, not this one is parents, but this plant crossed with another pappy called Swamp Bunny. This was the leaf that I showed the last time I showed it in the video, and it's nearly hardened off. Not quite. This one also got bumped, so there is a little bit of cosmetic damage, but this one is like very super bolate as well. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to catch that dimension, but look at the texture on that one. And this leaf is barely even hardened off, and it's already pushing the next one out of the petiole here. So this one's been growing really fast. I want to say it's rooted. It just hasn't rooted quite as much as the Carla cross, but there is root growth here in the pond. So pond has been working really well for me for foliage growth, but I feel like for root growth, tree fern fiber has actually been better. So that's my experience so far with these seedlings. And they're all pretty much growing in no drainage, even the tree fern fiber ones. I find tree fern fiber airy enough that it can be no drainage. It's just that there can be a lot of small particulates in the tree fern fiber that can kind of clog up and get waterlogged. So just be a little bit careful if you want to grow seedlings in tree fern fiber. I am so done filming this video now. I started filming and I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. Like I feel well enough to film, like physically. So I thought I would be able to film, and like I just have not been able to get my words out. Hopefully I can fix it in editing, but like this has been a very frustrating hour of my life, sitting here and struggling with my words and just struggling to have even like coherent thoughts. I have no idea literally what I just said about all these plants. I see plants around me. I don't remember talking about them. I don't know what I said. So if you're seeing this video, that means I didn't scrap it and just skip a Sunday. But yeah, all I want to do right now is get some tea, play BeatStar on my couch, and I want to put on Hocus Pocus. So that's what I'm gonna do. So sorry for the last minute change of plans with the video. Next week's video will be the collab with Charmaine. Hopefully by then I won't be feeling so out of it. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Thank you all so much to everyone who's here every week. Thank you guys so much. I hope it was at least a little bit fun to hang out for 30 minutes or so. If you enjoyed this video, or if you're feeling a little generous, please remember to give this video a like, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.